a big trade today. And I say big trade because even though it was for a quarterback that may not see the field, this was absolutely the right move for the Dallas Cowboys. I am going to say that they did absolutely the right thing today in making that trade for Patriots backup Joe Milton.
I really thought it was going to be about a different quarterback.
No. We got other quarterbacks to get to. But I'm not lying to you because you know me. I love criticizing the Cowboys because clearly they have no idea what's going on. I don't know. It's like the Cowboys and the Vikings really have this wrestling match over what they know what they're doing. But the Cowboys absolutely did the right thing. Joe Milton is an up-and-coming quarterback. He's got a lot of heat on him right now because of his talent level. An older guy coming into the league, started out at Michigan, played really well at Tennessee, has a strong arm. A lot of good things being said about him. The Patriots obviously are set at quarterback with Drake May, and Milton had a lot of heat, so they're able to turn him into a 5th and 7th round pick. Okay, obviously you see the comparison. Oh, Cowboys are getting a little bit smarter. It's not a 4th round pick like they gave up for Trey Lance, who didn't really see the field. But this trade is brilliant for the Cowboys, just like the Trey Lance trade was brilliant for the Cowboys. And don't worry, before you think I'm crazy, I'm going to tell you why. I ask you this, Mike Harmon. I ask you this. You're a Chicago Bears fan, and I'm sorry about that, for the last 10 years or so. If I said to you, you could trade a 4th round pick to a team, and you won't get anything back for it. You won't really get anything back you'll use. Not get anything, but you got to give a 4th round pick away to a team. But your quarterback will throw for 35 touchdowns and 4,000 yards that year. You would take that, right?
Wait, I get a 4,000-yard passer in Chicago?
You get a 4,000-yard passer and 35 touchdowns.
To him as soon as that completion's done.
That's worth it, right? It's absolutely worth it. That's what the Cowboys did with Trey Lance. Dak Prescott was coming off a really bad 2022. So what did the Cowboys do? They trade for Trey Lance. Did they give up a little bit more to get him? Sure, 4th round pick. But what did the Cowboys want to do? They wanted to say, okay, we've given the job to Dak. Dak has played pretty well, but now he's coming off a really bad year. We want him to know that, hey, you can't just coast here. We need to see more from you. You want a new contract. We got a guy waiting in the wings who's a number 3 overall pick in the draft. And, hey, if you're playing badly, Trey Lance, he's got a great pedigree. And what happened? They went out and they got Trey Lance, and look at Dak Prescott. 2023 had his best year in the NFL. He was until he got to the playoffs, but that's a different story. You got Trey Lance to put a little bit of pressure on Dak Prescott, and you look like geniuses because you got a great year. Now, last year he got hurt. He missed half the season, so okay. But the Cowboys know we need to do this again. We can't just allow him to come back without having that little bit of pressure on him. They didn't get Joe Milton to take Dak Prescott's job. I'm seeing all this Dak Prescott trade. No, that's not at all why they got Joe Milton. They got Joe Milton for 2 reasons, and the big one is the guy is talented enough and he's young enough to just put that pressure on Dak that if you stink, Dak, hey, we could start looking someplace else, to a guy who's going to be in the system for a little while, to a guy who's going to maybe get a chance at some point, and we can spin you off to another team. They have your contract. Somebody else will pay you. You can do that. We want to put that pressure on you. So, okay, that's what the Cowboys did. That's aim number 1. Aim number 2 is they need a guy that can play in case Dak gets hurt, because 2 of the last 3 years, Dak has missed a lot of time. And Cooper Rush, hey, he came in and played pretty well. Guess what? Cooper Rush is gone. So they need a backup quarterback that can come in and play if Dak gets hurt. And they don't want to give stuff away. It's just the way it is in the NFL. 2 out of the last 3 years. He missed 7 games 2 years ago, missed half the season this past year. So we need somebody else. This is why the Cowboys went out and got Joe Milton, and it was brilliant. It's exactly what they should do, and to keep the pressure on Dak Prescott so it's not free lunches all the way through, Dak. You need to continue on here. We paid you. We need to see stuff from you. It worked with Trey Lance. They're banking it's going to work with Joe Milton. This was brilliant.
Well, it was interesting. As the trade goes down, I get the notification and, send along to you guys because, I'm up like a dope early in the morning saying, hey, how about that? Because he'd been rumored to be in a new uniform in 6 or 7 different spots we had him connected to even before the carousel stopped spinning, as if would have been able to go in and perhaps fight to be the top guy for a job. Instead, you go to Dallas, they get a little flash. The trade, if you're on the New England side of it, I don't know how much sense it makes, except that he's going to run out of years on a rookie deal at the same rate as Drake May, so why bother? So get another extra pick, I guess. Because that caused people a lot of consternation this morning. It's like, well, if you liked him, why? No, because Drake May's the guy. Like I don't think a lot of people watch New England Patriots football this year. They have their quarterback now, and that they just have all the money to spend to build around him to go forward. But for Joe Milton in Dallas, yeah, Dak Prescott's not a kid. I mean, this is entering decade 2 with a couple of years of injuries, severe ones at that. You've got a squad where at some point Schottenheimer might be given the green light to say shuffle up and deal if Dak looks like he did the first half of last year. Because you go back and look at those numbers. Completion rate was down 5% from the year before. Touchdown to interception ratio was 11-8. Putting the ball in harm's way. And they haven't exactly done a lot of upgrading to the offense around him except to pay CeeDee Lamb. So it'll be a curiosity to see what they come back with come the fall and what the draft looks like. But Joe Milton, we watched him at Tennessee. You certainly were wondering if he was your Michigan man to get them to the promised land for a while. You know, your other team. Because, I mean, you're still a Syracuse Orange guy, but let's face it.
Well, now we're a football school. I mean, but now we're a football school.
Exactly.
So that's what it is.
Yeah. But all of that to say, we watched him a lot at Tennessee, and there were a lot of big things. So when he got drafted to New England after May, like, wow, that's kind of interesting. Pulling an old Washington, now Commanders thing, like when they had RG3 and Kirk Cousins all those years ago. You know, hey, one of you is going to win the job. The other guy's there as insurance. And look at Captain Kirk's made like $400 million being the insurance man. Now you got Joe Milton trying to be that guy for Jerry. Will there be Joe Milton Cowboy Bucks by the end of the year?
Oh, I don't know if you know this, Joe, but nobody gets paid like you do in the rest of the world. It's Cowboy, but don't worry, there's no tariffs on anything. No tariffs. We're tariff-free right now, so you don't have to pay me anything to be quarterback of the Cowboys. Although, hang on a second. I think a lot of people would pay to be quarterback of the Cowboys. Let me revisit that. But for now, you get paid in the Jerry Bucks, okay? And Steven will come in with a big briefcase and all the way through, and you have lines of credit at the dry cleaners, grocery store, whatever you want, all the way through. We got it for you. So don't worry. Just don't go too far outside the Fort Worth area, and you'll be able to buy whatever you want. So congratulations, Joe. Welcome to the Cowboys.
I dig what you're laying down there.
That's fun.
There you go. Joe Milton gets to be that guy. Play the insurance man. It could work out very nicely for you, especially if you get some extra reps with CeeDee Lamb this offseason. I'd be calling him every day and twice on Sunday. Hey, CD, want to have a game of catch? Want to have a catch? Come on.
Oh, telling you, man, the trade was brilliant. I give the Cowboys, again, I'm telling the truth because I don't really give the Cowboys, show you they don't know which way is up very often, but this was a brilliant move. And again, anybody would trade a 4th-round pick to get a 4,000-yard, 35-touchdown season from their quarterback. Everybody,
I would say this.
I'd give a 4th-round pick to the Patriots. I would drive it up to Bob Kraft myself and drop it off and let him take a picture of it like it's a big novelty check. And he would smile and I would shake his hand. I would do that in a second if I could get 35 total touchdowns and 4,000 yards from Justin Fields this year.
Yeah, well, there you go. Look, if anybody's got a line on a gamers from the Cowboys, if you can find me a Kelvin Harmon, that would be great. He's on their receiving depth chart. And because it's the low-hanging fruit, I think I'd rather take my shot that you can, spin some magic with Milton here, paying basically what you paid for Jonathan Mingo.